guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Alyssa. I make videos on food, travel, and lifestyle, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see whenever I post something new. And for today's video, I'm going to be talking about the best restaurants in Vancouver. So these places are places you must go eat at least once if you're in Vancouver. And if you didn't know, I grew up in Vancouver and I currently live in Toronto for university. However, over the winter break, I was lucky enough to go back to my hometown. I was able to eat at some of my favorite spots. In this list, some of the restaurants are new and some of them have been around for a while, but they all are so good and I would highly recommend that you go try them. I'm also going to talk about flying first class from Toronto to Vancouver. If you just want to watch the restaurants review, skip to 3 minutes and 36 seconds. Because I was lucky enough this time to fly first class, because last time I was really scared of COVID because I sat in economy and the person next to me had COVID, so I had to get tested after and I was really scared that I also had COVID. But luckily I tested negative, so I guess it was just kind of like a scare for me.
Alright, 4A. You're 4A, so first one.
I flew in first class and that meant that no one was next to me, which was so lucky. And one of the perks of first class is you get to sit in the lounge prior to departure, and this lounge is only for business class flyers, and they have food and unlimited drinks, so they have an open bar. And yeah, it was really yummy and really pretty. And on the flight, their seats are huge, so you can actually lay completely flat on the flight. And they also gave coverings for the seat. As well as food and a package with like hand sanitizer, water, and a mask and some snacks. So I actually had an amazing experience. So for the appetizer, I had a mixed green salad with braised beets and goat cheese, and then for the main course I had a chicken breast with onions, tomatoes, and mixed peppers, and coconut milk, potatoes, and other vegetables. And then for dessert, it was a lychee panna cotta. I just wanted to say that I'm extremely fortunate to have gone in first class, and if you can't afford it, then it totally makes sense. I wouldn't be able to afford it if my parents hadn't offered and had been so concerned about the COVID thing, and it was a holiday, so they wanted to make sure that I didn't have COVID and infect them or my grandparents, so I just wanted to let that out there. So getting into the best places to eat when you're in Vancouver. So the first place I want to talk about is called the Victor. Now, if you didn't know, the Victor is located in the Park Casino, so it's a casino in Vancouver, and it's more of an upscale restaurant, so definitely wear something cute or a little bit more fancy. The atmosphere is super nice, and they even have a patio. And the Victor is known for their steaks, but they also have yummy seafood, which we ordered. And I actually went here on Christmas with my family, so our meal was absolutely so good. And if you know anything about my family, it's that we love to eat together, so that's one of our favorite things to do. I just wanted to show you guys some more of the details of the restaurant. So this is what our table setup looked like. It was Christmas, so they gave us these presents on the table, which was super cute. And you can also see the rest of the inside of the restaurant. Since it was Christmas, we got this champagne, and Jay-Z actually owns this company, and this bottle's called Ace of Spades.
Guys, so we're at the restaurant. It's Christmas Eve, and Alexis, how are you feeling for dinner? I'm hungry. We're both really hungry, and our dad's ordering a lot of food.
We had bread and we also had caviar. The caviar was so delicious, and we also had some sushi because sushi is also amazing. And then of course we had to get the steak because that's what they're known for, and the steak was very, very good as well. We are done eating the main course. I'm so full and it was so good. Alexis, what did you think of it? Still eating. She's still eating. It was really good.
Sorry. Okay, whiskey and bread pudding.
Which one is this one?
And if they won't do bread pudding, take the
Steak. And the mashed potatoes are so silky.
Who's tuna is that? Everyone gets.
The next restaurant that I would highly recommend trying is called San Degas, and this is located on Powell Street in Vancouver, and it's a classic French restaurant with Quebecois influence, so Quebecois influence for the Gastronomic side. And they have a tasting menu, so you must pre-order tickets online to get a reservation. And I thought this restaurant was really cute, yet casual, chic, and hipstery vibes. The lights are really dim for dinner, so it's kind of intimate. And yeah, I really enjoyed the food here. It's something unlike I've ever tried in Vancouver because I never really had really good French food in Vancouver, so I would highly recommend this place. And yeah, they also won an award for Canada's Best New Restaurants in 2018 and some other awards that I found on their website, so definitely go check them out. To start off, we had this delicious bread, and then we also had something really unique called oreille de Crise, and this is fried pork rinds with maple and Montreal spices. And then we also had the éclair de mousse de foie gras de canard, which is a puff pastry with foie gras, which was absolutely delicious. So the next restaurant that I'm going to recommend is called Ubuntu Canteen, and this is one of my all-time favorite restaurants, like ever, because the dishes were so creative, the food was so delicious, and they also have a tasting menu, so we got that, and it was really cute inside. It's not too fancy, but it's still artsy, and you can tell that they really care about their ingredients because they even have a shelf at the restaurant with all of their different sauces. So it was really cool to see that. I've never seen so many different sauces made in-house, and yeah, I would highly recommend. It's so delicious. So some of the dishes that we had, I wrote them all down, so I'm just going to read off my computer. So celeriac smoked oysters with pear vinegar, and I liked this dish, but it was a little bit acidic, so if you don't like acidity, then I wouldn't recommend getting this. The oysters were salty, but I like salty. So the next dish I had was the fresh, delicate palate cleanser. And if you don't know, a palate cleanser is kind of like a pre-meal dish that helps get rid of any other flavors in your mouth that might compromise the next dish. We also had the Dorset lamb tartare. This was soft and not gamey at all, and it wasn't too salty. So if you know anything about lamb is super, it has like this weird aftertaste when you chew it, so I don't really like tasting that, and I thought that they really executed it well, so you couldn't taste that gaminess in the lamb. We also had the kohlrabi apple and dill, so it was like pickled strawberries in-house, homemade vinegar, lemon, thyme. It was soft, light, and slightly sweet, and this was a really refreshing, healthy dish. The next thing we had was the confit spring salmon with rose monarda. So this was absolutely amazing. I loved this dish so much. I think this was one of my favorite dishes from the restaurant because it was crispy on the outside and then soft on the inside. There were pea shoots, so that added like a crispy texture, and it had a sophisticated rose veloute, so slightly smoked but also sweet and savory, so it hit all of those taste buds. We also had some bread, some sourdough, and snoo from Catalonia, Spain. There was potato, white truffle, and black pepper. Then we also had yuzu ice cream for dessert, preserved raspberry with burnt white chocolate. So this had granita of melon and persimmon and cheesecake. So that was for dessert, and I was so full by the end of it. I remember feeling like I had to unbutton my pants, but it was so worth it, and it was such an experience. The thing I love about restaurants is like it's not just the food that tastes good, but it's the atmosphere, it's the people you're with, and since me and my family always eat together, it's always such an enjoyable experience.
This is just a showcase. We don't recommend that you eat it. It is edible. It's just to show how we make the potatoes. So what we do is we take the potato and we wrap it in this super, super salty dough, and we bake it that way for over an hour. So the potato retains all of its flavor and moisture. We crack it open, scoop it out, and it's topped with a little bit of a caramelized soy sauce, some shaved white truffles, and black pepper as well.
So this next restaurant that I'm about to tell you is a seafood restaurant. Oh my gosh, it's a seafood restaurant. It's called Oddfish, and it's located on West 1st Street. In my opinion, this restaurant is one of the best seafood restaurants in Vancouver. The atmosphere is super cute. They have ocean decor throughout, so there was like an octopus painting, and it's really cute inside. So it's a great date idea. Yeah, it's super, super good. Side note, look how pretty it is today in Toronto. Even though it's winter, it's still so nice outside, and I even felt like it was warmer in Toronto than Vancouver because Vancouver was raining a lot, and I feel like the wet cold is such a different type of cold. This next restaurant, called Published on Main, is also incredible. They have a tasting menu, which we were fortunate enough to try, and the atmosphere inside is like dark and modern and really nice as well. It's not super duper fancy, but it's still a nice restaurant. So I actually made a TikTok about this one because it was so aesthetic in there, and it was like a dark academia, is that what the word is? Dark academia aesthetic, if you know what I mean. But yeah, they had some really interesting dishes, and it wasn't traditional style of cooking, it was more like gastronomic. The next restaurant I'm going to recommend is a sushi place. It's called Tetsu, and it's really small, and it's owned by Japanese people, like authentic Japanese people, so it's really, really good traditional Japanese food. And we actually went here for my sister's birthday, my grandma's birthday, my mom's birthday, and my grandpa's birthday because they all have birthdays in January, and we all wanted to celebrate before me and Alexis, my sister, left for Toronto. So my dad actually booked out the restaurant, and that sounds crazy, but it's because my grandparents didn't want to leave the house at all because of COVID, so the only way that they would come is if there was no one else in the restaurant. And yeah, we were lucky enough to have the whole restaurant to ourselves, which was really nice, and it was the only time I was able to see my grandparents, so I really loved the experience. So I'm going to share with you my favorite dishes from Sushi Tetsu. And this is the eel. It was super delicious. And we also had this king smoked salmon. Either what'd you say?
Nice seared taste.
This dish is called kawahagi. And these are some negatoro rolls. I also had some sake. And this is some uni. I love creamy uni. This is toro and akami. Next, we have scallop on the right, and I don't remember the one on the left. And then for this one, we have squid on the right, and I really don't remember the one on the left either. The food was so good and so fresh. You could tell again that they really care about the people who eat at the restaurant, and if you want a really good sushi place, I would highly recommend Sushi Tetsu. So the next place I'm going to recommend is an Italian place. It's called Tudo, and this place recently opened up, and the atmosphere inside is nice. So it's one of those restaurants that could be super fancy if you dress up if you want to, or it could be nice, casual, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's really nice inside. And they have such good pasta. I love their pasta. The pizza was good. It wasn't my all-time favorite, but it was still really good. And they had really yummy cocktails. And yeah, I also made a TikTok about it. So if you guys want to go check that out, you can. I got plain cello, which is gin, aperol, limoncello, and raspberry. We also had oysters for the appetizer, and for another appetizer, we had the margarita pizza with red wine. You know, I love red wine. We got the strozzapreti carbonara, the casarecca con salsiccia, and the bucatini. This was branzino with salsa verde and broccolini, and it was absolutely amazing. The next place I'm going to recommend is a Japanese barbecue place. It's called The Alley, and it's in Richmond, BC. It's not my all-time favorite barbecue place, but it's a good place if you're craving a barbecue place in Vancouver. So yeah, I would recommend Alley, and it is a little bit pricey, so if you don't want to spend a lot, maybe I wouldn't recommend it, but if you don't mind splurging a bit, it's a good place to go. It's nice inside, and their cuts of meats are nice, so yeah. Okay, the next restaurant I'm gonna recommend is called the Botanist, but I wouldn't recommend this one above any of the other ones because I didn't like this one as much as the other ones, but I'm just putting this one in there in case you want to visit and see the nice restaurant in the Fairmont Hotel. And the reason why I didn't think that this was my favorite is because it was really expensive and the food was good, but it wasn't as outstanding and creative as the other places. We actually went here on December 31st, so in anticipation of 2021, and it was really funny because they restricted alcohol in Vancouver for restaurants by 8 p.m. So they announced this the night before, so on December 30th, and everyone was like crazy to order in their alcohol, and it was kind of funny, but we were also a little bit disappointed because we had to rush to drink our drinks. And yeah, that's just a funny little story about it. The last and final restaurant that I'm gonna recommend is actually two different restaurants, and the reason why I just combined them into one is because I already made two videos about them. So I made a video about Miku. So Miku's a sushi restaurant in Vancouver, and it's overlooking the water in downtown. So I made this video if you guys want to go click and watch it right now. And I also made one about Elise Steakhouse at the end of my Vancouver vlog. So if you guys want to see my experience there, it's at the end, so you guys can go skip to the end if you just want to see that part of the video, or if you want to watch all of it, then you can as well. Thanks so much, guys.